just from over there.
They don't reach?
Oh yeah, you launch them from that gold base and then you, excuse me, put them into the main. If it's a Terran or a Protoss player, they're gonna have buildings by that edge. But this one, I'm gonna predict it's either gonna be a like very fast rush up to Nydus against like a Muta player, or just a way to meme it up with the Roaches and the Nydus while skipping speed.
Like on a ZvZ, is it harder to do a Nydus on a Zerg?
It is a bit harder because that gas count really comes into play. If you're gonna both be going for Roaches and you invest 300 gas into Nydus, and they're investing into their Roaches, then you're just gonna have less
roach when you popped out.
Yeah, but I guess the queens are pretty good. But remember, Zerg has queens too, so like if you can get your queens in position.
Yeah, but you might pop out into a nest of queens when you get out there. Like you get out there, it was like
so
3
you have
queens,
to utilize the
like
fact that they go
queens.
for speed.
Yeah,
you have to hope that they go for speed and Bane, and then use like 150 gas on that. If they make safety Banes, then that's 200 gas, so that's already the Nydus Worm equalized for you.
So it's going to be timing then. You got to like time yourself so that you pop in just when he's invested a bunch of gas into Banes and Knives and Roaches.
But it's also just like the overall cost as well. So like if you're doing everything mirrored and you skip link speed, that's 100 gas that you're not investing into something that you're not even planning to use. So if you go straight into Roaches, right, that's 4 more Roaches that you can make that he can't because he invested into link speed. Granted, you don't take any damage from speedlings.
Okay, so basically we're looking at like a balance sheet, right? In terms of like it needs to even out on both sides, or else you're going to be in a situation where, as long as like if he decides to go Banes, but you decide to put the same amount of money to something else that you're going to use, it's kind of equaling out. What you just don't want is something that just doesn't equal the other side's investment.
Exactly. So if you can get away with it, because in ZvZ, if you skip a link speed and you skip Banes, you can die straight up. And that's why, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, all right, I'm just going to skip Banes because I don't like Ling Bane Wars. Well, I mean, you better have a really sick defensive wall or some kind of strategy that allows you to get up to your Roaches, because that's basically the only thing that you can make aside from Mass Queen and Spine to defend against Speedling. And then you're going to probably delay your third because you can't really defend a third base that easily with a small amount of Roaches in that stage of the game.
Yeah, so I was going to say that, like, the third would be so vulnerable.
Now, it's not even Railgun that's going for it. It's going to be Daluved, or however you say his name. Daluved? Yeah, so notice this is like kind of like what I was talking about. Look, he hasn't got Zergling speed. He's making a wall, and he's immediately going up into lair. He didn't drop a Bailing Nest, and he's even getting +1. So I'm going to see...
it's Davu. You're right. Sorry. I'm watching... Railgun and expecting him.
I thought it was going to be him as well, but he ended up going for speed. So that's already 100 gas down the drain, if you will, if he doesn't get anything done. And on a map like Neon Violet Square, you already have that back base.
So essentially, like in terms of, wait, what's happening? Oh,
I thought, okay, this is cool. He's showing Roaches, and then he's trying to go into Spire. So Daluved is like, all right, I'm going to try to go for a 2-base Roach attack. And then he's just going to drop a Spire, but I think it got scouted. And now he's going to put down the Nydus, maybe?
Is he putting down the Nydus?
Oh, snap. Maybe Railgun will do it, but Daluved, he's trying to play the mind games here. But the problem is that his initial plan has already been scouted. Railgun already has a third base, and he's up by 4 drones.
And Daluved is going +1/+1.
So it's going to be like, oh,
there it is.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Railgun is actually the one doing the Nydus. This is interesting.
But you know why he's doing it? Because he saw the Spire. He saw the Spire, so he thinks that he's getting tricked right now. Daluved knew that Railgun saw the Spire, decided to cancel the Spire.
Let's go back to that point where he actually saw where the Spire got scouted.
Right here. But you actually got it right on point. Boom.
Did I?
Those 4 lings were able to go into the net. Yep. These 4 lings, catch it, go into the main. Daluved was probably going to make a few Roaches to trick him. And as soon as his Spire got scouted, he's going to start making +1/+1. I don't think this was in the plan originally.
So it's because it got scouted that he decided to. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think this is deep. I'm telling you, Drek, this is deep. Okay, they say ZvZ is just. No, I'm just kidding. but like the reality of it is that you make it look like you're going to be going for some kind of a roach push.
The mind games. It's the
mind he even started +1 and then he canceled it.
Okay, here it is. Railgun puts it in here, sees his queen. His queen is trying to block everything, holding it down. Oh, queen gets overwhelmed, gets killed. He was gonna put something down. I think he was gonna put it in an evolution chamber, but
try to block it. Yeah.
Couldn't do it in time, and these lings get in. So the Spire was over there,
and it gets scouted. Now we see the mind games at work. Cancel the Spire, and
goes for +1/+1. So the idea here, I guess the idea is he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go roach it because he's gonna think that I'm going something else. He thinks I'm going maybe Nydus. So what? He might think I should counter with Hydras.
If Railgun scouts that, if he scouts that Spire, then he can have a couple of options. He plays fairly defensively. Because he's on 3 bases versus the 2, gets a bunch of drones up, and then he just makes spore crawlers and more queens, and then goes up to Hydra. Or he does this, because this Railgun drops down a Nydus Swarm, and you try to kill them before the mutas are even in a high enough number to really make a difference.
I see that there's this Overlord that's getting into position up here by the main. This is obviously the guy here who is going to do the kill switch.
The MVP, he's a spotter lord.
He's a spotter lord.
And he's going in.
Going in.
But
can you see it? Can you see it?
No, man. That's way out of vision here. But the problem here for Railgun, and we'll see if it works out for him, is that Daluvet canceled the Spire and is going for roaches too. So he's actually going to have units. He's expecting mutas to pop up. But let's see if he can actually still make it happen. Because 1/1 roaches are going to be better than none roaches.
He also dropped spines.
Yeah, but look, he's dropping spores because he thinks it's going to be muta.
Oh, so he actually believed it.
Yep. But does he have enough is the question here. He's going to have the +1/+1 soon. Oh, he needs to get the +1/+1 to really get this investment to work out. He does have road speed already, so he can micro a little bit better.
+1/+1 is doing this.
Yep, it's so close.
It's a very interesting investment. Oh, just jumping back in. He's like, help!
Yeah.
We didn't make it.
And Railgun, he was expecting there to be mutas. And he got greeted by a bunch of roaches that had +1/+1 and speed. So now Railgun is in a position now where he invested 300 gas to make that happen. And it really didn't pay off, right? Like, my boy Daluvet is about to move on out with Roach Ravager, +1/+1 and roach speed.
Oof. See, in that case, then, do you think that it was like what went wrong with this idea? This actually seemed like great on paper.
It's the mind game, but it's the mind game.
Because he was expecting the
mutas.
The mutas. That's why he brought the queens.
Imagine, and he made the spores. So imagine if there was mutas popping up. Well, all of a sudden, Daluvet loses a bunch of his drones inside of his main. He has to evacuate them in order to try to save them, and then he loses mining time. But the way that it worked out, it's better for Daluvet.
Yeah, Railgun's gonna get overwhelmed. The Ravagers are gonna do a number, especially +1/+1.
Yeah, the upgrades. But he does have defender's advantage, so he might survive here. If he survives, he has more drones. I would be
so impressed if he did.
Yeah.
I don't see this happening though.
It shouldn't. If he does, then sure. But like on paper, it shouldn't. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Is Railgun a god or not? No, he's not. Unfortunately, he's immortal like all of us.
He bleeds. He bleeds. But
that was a really cool game because of the whole dynamic of what happened there. That was like a lot of mental gymnastics. Like,
was the Nydus the right answer?
Nydus was not the right answer, but in Railgun's head, like for what he scouted, it was the right thing to do. I give him a thumbs up for that.
Because it made sense. Okay, so actually, I guess I should preference it. With the information that Railgun was given, it was the right answer. But in reality, It was the wrong answer.
It was the wrong answer because you saw what happened, right? Like, and okay, so let's like, imagine a scenario where a player is rushing up to 2-base Spire and they don't have the Roach Warren at the front, right? It's 2 Evos and it's only a Spine and Queens.
Right.
Then I would say all of a sudden ZvZ doesn't have that option to just make that switch and the cancel so smooth. He has to drop the Roach Warren and then he has to start Roach Speed, then he has to start Roaches.
I see. Because he'd been too far behind in the Roach game to keep up or catch up to
he was planning an attack anyway. So if he didn't have the Roach Warren, I believe
the fact that he dropped the Roach Warren, was this part of his plan all along to kind of out meta him by dropping the Spire, canceling the Spire, or was he like, I'm gonna go mutas and Roaches? That sounds really expensive.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he was planning to surprise Railgan with mutas while making him think that it was gonna be Roach. Right? Because he actually made an effort to hold his front. Right? Like he was attack. He put the queen. He tried to make a Evo chamber
to block it again afterwards.
Yeah, and as soon as it got scouted, he was like, "All right, well, let's go to plan B." You know, or whatever. I don't even know what plan it is at that point because it's.
But
like,
it seems so weird that he would use that he would get Roach Warrens in the first, like go Roach Warrens.
Mind games. It's all part of the mind games, man.
All part of the mind games.
Yep.
All part of the mind games.
And like the fact that the mind game almost worked against him and then he ended up like flipping it in his favor in the end because Railgan tried to play a mind game and say, oh, not even a mind game, but just like an exploit. He tried to exploit the fact that he was getting mind gamed. He was like, oh, you in my mind? He's like, no. I'm gonna Nydus. You're not gonna see it. You're gonna go mute us anyway.
This is totally like
I'm gonna kill you.
Like Millennium Eye level like reveal Yugi boy. I'm in your mind, Yugi boy. And he's like, oh, you don't know what I'm thinking, Pegasus.
Right. But he knows. He knows that you know.
And he pulled out.
He knows that you know.
But he know that you know that he knows.
Exactly. There you go. That's where it all comes because that was cool. That was really cool that it ended up being like that.
That was a really interesting way of pulling it
But it
together.
makes me wonder if Railgan didn't go for the Nydus and he went for the other option, which is make 3 spores and one inside of each one of your base.